You've probably heard of Jim Carrey, the iconic funny man who got his start on the popular Wayans Brothers show, In Living Color, and who made movie magic with cult comedy classics like The Cable Guy, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber. But what you might not know is that in 2010, Carrey's organization, the Better You Foundation, donated a huge sum of money to Cornell University to start a program whose mission would grow to fight hunger in over 60 countries all around the world. Many of us growing up, especially in America, might remember complaining to our parents about having something we don't like for dinner and hearing, "There's people starving in Africa, quit your whining." We've seen pictures of little ones skinny, even bloated with hunger, in barren desert landscapes, or perhaps even remember carrying a little orange box from UNICEF door to door with us while trick-or-treating to collect change from our neighbors to try and help. We know it's a problem, but maybe we've stopped seeing it, or, more likely, maybe we've gotten so emburdened by the struggles in our own lives that trying to help feels impossible. But maybe it's not impossible. Maybe we just need to retrace our steps and figure out how it got this way. When global famine first became a hot topic in the 1960s, this guy, Norman Borlaug, wanted to feed the world. His intentions were noble, and his innovations gave rise to the Green Revolution, saving 1 billion people from starvation and giving birth to massive farms that specialized in growing acres and acres of singular staple crops, maybe corn or wheat. This practice was called monoculture. At first, these monoculture farms addressed food shortages, and we saw huge increases in yields, and there was a plenty that many people hadn't seen before, at least for some parts of the world. What we didn't realize is that these growing techniques would become our next big problem. Monocropping uses vast amounts of water and fertilizer, leading to water shortages and sending tons of chemical waste into the oceans, which creates dead zones where nothing can survive from the lack of oxygen. Monocropping also uses massive tracts of land. Forests are cut down and soil is tilled for planting, and all of the carbon that was being removed from the air and being stored safely in plants and soil is released back into the atmosphere. Biodiversity is destroyed, and many species are facing endangerment and extinction. With all this, agriculture has become the second largest contributor of greenhouse gases in the world, producing 1/3 of our global emissions and putting an insane amount of pressure on all 9 planetary boundaries outlined by the Stockholm Resilience Center, which must be respected for Earth to stay inhabitable. Here's the irony. Excess greenhouse gases lead to climate change, and climate change makes weather go crazy. We've all noticed how each summer seems to be hotter than the last, and every time we go online, it seems like there's another fire, or another tornado, or hurricane, or typhoon, floods, droughts, extreme temperatures. They all ruin crops, and on farms big and small alike, it's getting harder to recover from the damage. We started monocropping to fight world hunger, but it's only making it worse. For nearly 2 billion people, climate change is creating a world where they don't know when or where their next meal is coming from. So is all hope lost? Are we doomed to repeat this cycle? Not at all. In 2010, with Jim Carrey's donation to Cornell, the SRI program was born. SRI stands for System of Rice Intensification, but it's not as complicated as it sounds. The method was first started in Madagascar in 1980, and the results are pretty incredible. Crops are not only protected from extreme weather, but their yields have increased by twice as much. Farmers transplant seedlings much earlier than conventional methods, placing them further apart in a square grid pattern, which allows them to grow bigger and stronger than the dense random spacing in traditional planting. Rather than using continuous flooding for irrigation and weed control, weeds are pulled manually or with an inexpensive, simple mechanical weeder that lightly aerates the soil and incorporates the pulled weeds into the soil, a practice called residue retention that provides nutrients for the plants and improves soil health and water retention, unlike synthetic fertilizers. Water is only applied as needed, with the fields being allowed to dry out between waterings, a technique called alternate wet and dry watering, which encourages strong roots as the plants root deeper and wider in search of water. All of these techniques can be adapted to farmers' local conditions so that they can get great results by doing what works best for them. Water use is cut down by up to 50%, and fertilizer is, in many cases, not necessary at all. Farmers are producing twice as much food using less seed, less fertilizer, and less water. And it doesn't just work for rice. In other crops, like wheat, corn, or sugarcane, these methods are called the system of crop intensification, or SCI, and the results are just as good, if not better. These techniques are some of several, known as climate-adaptive agriculture. Not only do they empower farmers to protect their food security in the face of climate change, they also reduce greenhouse gas emissions, potentially 40 to 70%. With such awesome solutions, why isn't everyone using them? Although SRI has changed the lives of people in over 60 countries worldwide and stands to reduce greenhouse gases by 40 to 70%, only 4% of global finance commitments target our food systems. That's where you come in. Social media doesn't have to be all bad. Spread the word, share this message. If you really want to pack a punch, contact the UN Sustainable Development Goals campaign at the website listed here or linked down in the description box of this video, and tell them to start prioritizing climate-adaptive agriculture solutions like SRI. Climate change and world hunger don't have to be the norm when it's never been easier to be part of the solution. Stand up for farmers and the billions of people who rely on their hard work, and let's build a better world together.